Welcome back to the Rings of Power. Looks like we're getting a cold open this time. Well, this is the finale. I am, fingers crossed. I would like to love this. I'm still so mad at the harfoots for kicking him out after they asked him to do the magic. No, I don't trust that. Yeah, of course. It's kind of cool, though. I like seeing different types of magic being used. Alright, what do you all want with him? What's the deal?
Sauron.
Oh. Wait, for real? I mean, I suppose that could work, but I kind of hope that's not the case. I also feel like if they're gonna reveal who Sauron is, would they really do that in, like, the cold open of the finale? I mean, maybe they would.
Doing more with less. The sun itself.
Oh, so they are gonna make the Rings of Power out of the mithril?
And how could we possibly match the?
Was that the case in the book? I guess it doesn't really matter.
What has happened?
Oh yeah, that's right. I guess he wouldn't know that she jumped ship.
How is it you are here?
How is it you are here?
I mean, I think he would prefer an answer to his question, but...
Who's there? Reveal yourself.
Is Galadriel here?
Where am I?
Was the workshop of Celebrimbor?
The
You
Celebrimbor.
gonna talk about yourself in the third person?
He's not here, is he?
Cool.
Celebrimbor? Nothing like your artistry.
Enough of the flattery.
These
Alright.
gemstones. What do you?
It looks like a sapphire, a ruby, and a diamond.
Feanor's jewel craft managed to capture the essence of Valinor.
What is it?
Wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on.
To make a blade lighter and.
I feel like I might be kind of stupid, but are they trying to say that he is actually Sauron?
A gift.
I feel like they kind of are. Him influencing him to make the rings like that.
I know what you have been doing in the dark of night when you thought all eyes were asleep.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, what?
Your handmaid will be back in a moment, my king.
Nope. Pretty spry for an old fellow. Okay, so she's gonna become privy to this prophecy. I don't really see what she would be able to do with that information.
A scepter, perhaps.
A sword?
Or perhaps a crown.
You're getting closer.
This idea was his.
His suggestions were but the key that unlocked the dam. We are on the cusp.
Exactly. Oh, I think Galadriel's starting to figure it out. I think he's actually Sauron.
Not of the flesh, but over flesh.
He has to be. Come on. All these looks that Galadriel's given him. Him kind of helping them along to make the rings. It's gotta be him.
I'm just offering whatever humble aid I can.
Mm-hmm. Sure you are.
Tell you the truth, I can still hardly believe it. And I'll see to it that no one else does either.
Mm-hmm. Just that little taste of sinister right there at the end. I've gone from being suspicious to now being fairly certain.
Yet dust fears you, for it trembles when you are wroth. The winds.
He can't be Sauron. It's gotta be Halbrand. I don't believe it. Excuse you. They at least think he's Sauron and are servants of Sauron, but like, where do they come from? Oh, the lovely harfoots. Is it time to save your wizard?
Where'd the third one go? Better 2 than 3. Now's our chance.
I would rather know where the third one is. Ah, shit. I kind of already forgot about the shape-shifting powers. No! Come on, don't kill him, man. You can't kill the hobbits. That's the rule. You can't kill the hobbits. Alright, well, since we did this whole Wizard storyline. Let's get a nice, badass wizard magic battle right here. I am down.
Master, calm yourself.
Not your master. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. Kind of reminiscent of the fight between Sauron and Gandalf. Oh, he's not dead. Ha! How's that feel? That's right. A bit cliche, but it's kind of cool that, you know, it's able to just put all the fire out. Oh, wow. And the look of just all the embers and everything, that looks awesome.
I'm good.
Don't really like that line, but the other? What do they mean by the other? Kind of strange, but I kind of like that. That was a unique way to banish something. But is that really all they're gonna do in the story? I thought we were gonna, I don't know, get like a lot more when it comes to them. It's kind of neat though that they sort of looked like the Nazgul when Frodo puts on the ring. Come on, wizard friend, can't you fix him up?
Still.
Well, I mean, it doesn't tear me to pieces, but it does bum me out that he's not going to make it.
And I, for one, will see to it that we make the end worth the price.
Come what
I mean,
may.
that works.
Come what may.
Lendil. What is it? What's wrong?
Yeah, what? Do you want to share what's going on? The king has died. I mean, it's not like he was even really ruling in the first place, and we never really got to get attached to him or anything, so sorry to say, I don't really care.
Supposing we've been using too much force.
Oh, and you come up with the magic solution that makes it work.
Meaning that the metals shouldn't be forced at all anymore.
Okay.
Drawn or coaxed.
The last man to bear your crest died over 1,000 years ago. He had no heir.
I told you I found it on a dead man.
Ah, cool.
No.
I don't know.
No, on the raft, you say.
I feel like him playing an evil character makes him a lot more interesting.
To save the men of Middle-earth.
You convinced her. I wanted to remain in Numenor.
You fought beside me.
Against your enemy.
Oh, shit. Oh, cool. We're gonna go for a little ride through Galadriel's mind.
Lose your footing again, sister.
Don't do that. That's mean.
Galadriel.
Don't do it. Don't fall for it.
Touch the darkness once more.
Come on, Galadriel. Snap out of it.
My brother is dead.
Come back to me. Galadriel.
Look at me!
Cool. Again, I just love
You know
mindscapes and everything. There's just so much you can do with it.
When Morgoth was defeated, clenched fist had released its grasp from my neck.
Oh, I'm sure.
And in the
Doesn't make you any
first
better.
sunrise, I told you that I had done evil and you did not care.
I
Because you
mean,
knew that our
yeah.
past meant nothing.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
I alone can see your greatness.
Classic manipulator tactic. Only I see you for what you are.
Fair as the sea and the sun.
Oh?
Stronger than the foundations of the...
Alright, I'll allow that reference. That was kind of nice.
My king will rule.
I see no difference.
And that's where there's a problem.
And that is why I will never be at your side.
Because of you!
And you will die because of me!
Not like you can really do anything to him when you're trapped under his magic. So is she just going to be stuck like this for however long, or is she going to be able to snap out of it? Because this would kind of suck. Okay, cool.
Where did we first meet?
Seaside, when I was first orphaned.
I mean, if Sauron was in your mind, he probably would know that too. I'm just saying.
One will always corrupt. Two will divide.
But with three, there is balance.
I suppose I can see that reasoning.
Today.
In your tongue, that means wise one.
Or wizard.
Alone, it's just a journey. No adventures. They must be shared.
Never really thought about that.
Hey. Sorry, Malda. Nothing but steep slopes and brickled brambles for weeks.
Right, you're so quick and wise. Why didn't you do the trail finding?
Probably should.
Go on.
Oh. Well, that's rather sweet. I actually do like that a lot.
Goodbye.
She just doesn't know how to say goodbye right now. It's okay.
Right.
It's hard for everybody.
Stairs for the big heaven and the big beyond, and I haven't taught you a blooming thing.
Of course you did.
Sure you have.
You'll be bold.
Oh, that's actually rather touching. You can see that it makes her mom proud, but at the same time it scares her. 'Cause she's like, you know, you're my baby, and you're gonna go out there and do some crazy, stupid shit, and it makes me nervous. This is one of the more heartfelt, emotional scenes of the season, I would say. I'm actually feeling this one. Oh. Don't push beyond emotional and get me to cry now.
You're my best friend in this whole wide, wild world. I'd do anything for you. The world's not that wide, Poppy. It's just that we're so bleeding small. Not to mention I haven't an inkling which way to go.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to point us in the right direction, man.
When in doubt, Eleanor Brandyfoot.
No.
Always follow your nose.
I know that's not like official confirmation or anything that that's Gandalf, but I mean, come on. I feel like that's pretty close to confirmation. Man, I don't like that either. I'm like, there's other wizards. We don't have to do Gandalf. And I guess that means Gandalf has always been very, very close to the hobbits, you know, from the very start. Gonna have to let it go, Galadriel. This is also the one time I kind of will allow the slow beauty shots of all the, like, blacksmithing, because it is the forging of at least 3 of the Rings of Power, which, I mean, is pretty important. Alright, let's see if this works. I'm sure it will. Oh, and it's like the Eye of Sauron there. I wonder how they were able to separate out the silver and the gold so perfectly. I mean, I guess you can just say, you know, elven magic. I don't know. Or maybe it just separates out like that on its own. I don't know. Now Elrond's gonna know the truth. Those close-ups of the gems look awesome. They look very good. Different than they did in the Lord of the Rings films, which I kind of expected. And I don't remember how they described them in the book. It's a pretty cool transition. Oh, and I assume you're here to forge the One Ring to rule them all. Although, I don't know how that would work exactly, because the other rings of power haven't been made yet, you know, for the dwarves and men.
3 rings for the elven king.
Oh, is that how it ends? Okay. Well, I'm not gonna lie, there was actually a decent amount of stuff in here that did get me kind of excited for season 2. And it was pretty cool, so let's discuss. Alright, well, the season is finally over, and we have a more full picture of exactly what this show is, or at least, you know, what it is for season 1. And now that it's all wrapped up, I gotta say, there are still a lot of storylines and characters and things that happened throughout the season that I think could have just been cut entirely. As a matter of fact, there were a lot of things in this episode that I was enjoying because I'm like, oh, okay, we're actually getting to this now. This is what I've been waiting for. Specifically, the creation of the Rings of Power. And also the reveal of, you know, where is Sauron? What is he doing? And it turns out that it's been Halbrand this whole time. Which, I kind of like that reveal. I actually didn't see that coming until this episode happened and he started being very, very helpful towards the elves. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. But I don't like that they try to fake reveal that Gandalf is Sauron. Because, I don't know, the moment they said that, I instantly kind of put up a wall saying, like, no, that doesn't seem right. That does not seem right. Because, I don't know, throughout the season, they've sort of hinted at, like, oh, maybe he's evil. But I feel like it was really clear from the get-go and all the way through that, you know, this is a wizard. This is either Sauron, if he's evil, or Gandalf. And if it is Sauron, he can't be evil right away. Like, Sauron didn't start off like that. So I don't know, that reveal that he's Sauron, but oh, no, he's not, didn't really work for me. But I did like seeing the big, you know, magic battle. I thought some of the ways the magic was used there was actually pretty cool. Specifically the way that woman was like twisting him in the air and everything. You can see all the rocks moving around with it. I thought that was very cool. And then towards the end of the episode for that storyline, they, you know, give all the harfoots a good heartwarming goodbye, which was genuinely kind of emotional. When she was saying goodbye to her family, I actually really felt that. But I did not like that they reveal that it's Gandalf. Again, they didn't 100% reveal it. They could absolutely, in the next season, take that back and be like, oh, that was just a callback to the line that Gandalf said, but this is actually this wizard. But I'm pretty sure that was them not so subtly saying, yeah, this is Gandalf. The reason Gandalf is always so tight with the hobbits is because the first thing he remembers is, you know, being taken in by these harfoots. And I don't know, I just don't really like that. Because in terms of when Gandalf shows up in the timeline, this is too early. He is not supposed to be here yet. I don't think any wizards are supposed to be here yet, but, you know, I'll disregard that. Whatever, we can change the timeline up a little bit. But again, it seemed like a good opportunity to show off a different wizard of some kind, or perhaps show a bit more of Sauron and how, you know, all the potential for goodness is there, but all the desire for power completely ruins him. Like, you could have done something really cool with that. But now that it's Gandalf, I'm like, oh, well, he's just gonna be the really nice, quirky wizard that I know won't die or anything because it's Gandalf. So yeah, I'm not a fan that that was his big reveal. But I'm glad that they at least answered it. It's not still a mystery. I did like the reveal that Halbrand was Sauron. After my second watch through on the episode, I started looking up some, you know, feedback on that finale. And I was really surprised to see that a lot of people apparently knew that Halbrand was Sauron from very early on. I sort of call bullshit on that. Just because, I don't know, I didn't hear anyone saying anything about him being Sauron until now. Now all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, I knew from the very start. I'm sure there were plenty of people who did realize what they were doing with his character from the get-go. But I don't know, I have a strong feeling that there's a lot of people pretending. And I certainly didn't see it coming. As I said, it was only when he started, being very, very helpful to the elves that I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is definitely mirroring the storyline that happens in the Silmarillion involving Sauron and the elves. Or is it in the Silmarillion? Or do they just talk about it in the Lord of the Rings? Regardless, it certainly clued me in like, oh, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure this is where we're going with this. And the reveal was nice. I actually really liked the scene of Galadriel being trapped in her head by him while he's trying to, win her over. I thought that was really cool. I do think the forging of the rings and the goodbye with the harfoots are just a little too dragged out. In both cases, I like the content of the scenes, and I think both in the end do work. It's just a little too long. Each of those scenes, just the farewells and goodbyes with the harfoots and the forging of the rings until you finally see them made. Both of those scenes are about 7 minutes long each, and it's just too much time, man. I mean, that's been a problem with the show through the entire season, I think, is them just dragging certain things out. Even the things that I like and would have liked more if they knew when to stop. But in many cases, they continue to just really, really play out the moments, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Hurry it along, please. And then there's also the stuff with the Númenóreans in this episode, which was pretty minimal compared to the other two main storylines. And if I'm being honest, I don't really see the purpose in them having this here. I suppose it's important to show that the king has died, but I would argue just show me that one scene of like, oh, they've arrived, he's dead, move on. I don't really see the purpose in Elendil's daughter having seen the vision in the Palantir, or Miriel and Elendil talking about, oh, this really sucks. We're gonna, push through. We're gonna make it through this. There's just a lot of stuff that I think could have easily been either saved for season 2 or just not done at all. As a matter of fact, I would prefer they scrap those scenes and give me a few scenes with the dwarves to wrap up the season. I do not like that the bookmark ending for the dwarves is that shot of the Balrog, because as I said in the last episode, I did not like that. And I gotta say, them ending it with Sauron going to make the One Ring, or at least I assume that's what he's doing. He's, walking up to Mount Doom. Like, it seems like he can't do that at the current moment, because he creates the One Ring after all the other ones have been made. And when he creates it, that's when he essentially curses all these people and binds all those rings' power to his. I suppose you could do that retroactively? Like, you can make the ring, and then once everyone else has made their rings, then he does a little ritual to, like, bind them all together or something. I don't know. It just seems not as coherent, I guess, as it was presented in the source material. And it does confuse me just a little bit. So I'm hoping they explain exactly what he's doing there and how he's going to be able to bind all these rings together if currently only 3 have been made for the elves. But let's jump into the technicals. Writing of the episode. I think it was definitely stronger than the previous one just because there were some, big, bold moves made here. It didn't feel entirely like a waste of time. The reveal that Sauron is actually Halbrand, I thought was pretty good. The reveal that, the strange wizard is Gandalf, while not being officially confirmed, I did not care for. But I did find the genuine emotion and, full character arc that some of the Harfoots got in that storyline to be decent, at least.
You'll be bold.
But like a lot of the other episodes, there's a lot of just dead air, it feels like here. Scenes that just go on for an extensively long time for seemingly no reason other than, let's look at this pretty stuff for a little bit longer. Which, I'll give them, what I'm looking at is very pretty almost all the time on this show. But my time is precious, man. I got to get to the good stuff. And the exclusion of the dwarves in favor of more stuff with the Númenóreans, I feel like was kind of a poor choice for the finale here. So for writing, I'm going to do a 5 out of 10. Editing in this episode, there were some great choices here. I love the, mindscape scene with Galadriel. There were some clever edits to, switch the environments very quickly, which they usually did on the motion of some kind of action or with a very loud vocal or some kind of sound cue to switch or transition the scenes. And they did a very good job with that. A lot of the montages and everything with, the blacksmithing of the rings. And there were also just some rather clever edits. I thought the moment when Elendil's daughter pulls off the little cloth over the Palantir, I really enjoyed that they cut right before you actually see the Palantir to the next moment. It's something that, even though I personally don't really care about that situation or that character or scene, it is a good way to put a little more emphasis on the moment and make it seem like, oh, this is a little ominous, this is something important. So I feel like the editors were certainly doing their job well here. But there are moments where, again, I think they should have cut some of the stuff down. And that is, in part for the writing and in part for the editing. But there were some really solid choices made elsewhere, so I'm going to do an 8 out of 10. Cinematography was absolutely fantastic. Again, the lighting and the actual framing and composition of the shots here is just breathtaking. They do such a wonderful job on this show. As much as I think we were wasting some time, those beauty shots of the gems and the metals being twisted into the rings and everything, it just looked gorgeous. And it's actually rather difficult, I think, to show off like an insert of an object and still make it look very... I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Impactful. It's something that really holds your attention in an aesthetically pleasing way. So yeah, there's nothing I really have to complain about in terms of cinematography at all, so 10 out of 10. Acting in the episode, there were some choices that I wasn't the biggest fan of. The old man playing the king, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna look up the name right now. He seemed, I don't know, a little too aware for someone that's supposedly about to die in a day or two. And he might have got the short end of the stick just because I did see, House of the Dragon, where Paddy Considine did an incredible job showcasing a king aging and then eventually dying. Here I thought there were a lot of moments where Robert Aramayo also was not necessarily overacting, but just being a little too, I guess, dramatic about everything. I don't know, there were certainly moments where his acting kind of pulled me out of the scene. But I thought everybody else was doing a very good job with everything that they were given. I did very much enjoy seeing Charlie Vickers get to, get his evil on. Because he didn't go full-blown maniacal cackling villain or anything. He certainly got pretty insane there towards the end. But for the most part, he got to play it kind of subtly. He's trying to convince Galadriel that he's trying to heal everything. I really liked his performance for all that. So, with that in mind, I think I'll do another 8 out of 10. Costumes and makeup. There were some really good ones here. I really liked a lot of the different elven style costumes that we got for Halbrand and Galadriel and everyone throughout the episode. I believe that was the only bit of new stuff that we got. Well, actually, what Muriel, the queen, was wearing was quite nice as well. But then you have the Harfoots and Gandalf and whoever those people were, which I think all of those were very appropriate for their characters. It was just the three strangers that, I don't know, thought looked kind of cheap, little plain. But since that's the only gripe and everything else I thought looked fantastic, including all the wigs and everything used, I'm going to do a 9 out of 10. Set design I thought was very good here. Celebrimbor's workshop, where they make the Rings of Power, I thought all that looked really good. I also like the little, I'm assuming it's a set that they built. there on the riverbank where the big reveal of who Sauron is made. And I like that they got to bring us back to, some old scenes and locations with the Mindscape scene. I thought all the locations and sets were very, very good, so I'm gonna do 10 out of 10. Visual effects. It's a bit of a mixed bag on this one. There are some things that I think looked phenomenal. Almost everything during the, mine scene with Galadriel and Sauron, I thought the visual effects were phenomenal. And a lot of them were meant to be somewhat understated effects, so I think that's sort of what made that work really well. The big battle scene with the wizards, or the dark followers of Sauron and one wizard. Who were those people? They never gave me a full answer that I liked. But there were things that I thought looked fantastic. Like her lifting him up and twisting him in the air with all the rocks floating around him. That was great. I thought that looked fantastic. But some of the fire, which is notoriously very difficult to not make look fake with visual effects, I thought that it looked fake in certain scenes and didn't look completely convincing. That being said, I thought, all the embers floating down after he puts the fires out, thought that looked amazing. But then on the other hand, when he banishes them and turns them all into a bunch of moths and white light, again, it looks really good, but it looks very obviously to be, a big visual effect. Which I understand you kind of can't get around to a certain degree. But if you're gonna hit me with, like 2 minutes straight of just solid visual effects shots, those visual effects shots better look damn flawless, or I'm gonna critique it. But yeah, I would say the visual effects during a vast majority of the episode was incredible. But with the budget that they have on this show, and how much focus they like to put on the visual effects sometimes, I do have to be a little extra harsh when it comes to effects that don't look completely polished or, perfected. So I'm going to do another 8 out of 10. And finally, the sound design. There were some choices here that were very good. I keep bringing it up, but, the big Mindscape scene with Galadriel and Sauron, the sound design during a lot of that was fantastic. I love how they utilized the sound to edit the scenes together.
Galadriel.
Look at
me! Some of the big triumphant musical score moments I thought were quite memorable, and I would like to see variations of those themes, going on into future seasons. So I'll do a 9 out of 10. And that gives this episode an 8.4 out of 10. I do, again, feel like it's a little generous to give it an 8.4, because it's a lot of the production design of this show that is, propping it up. Visually, it looks incredible. Most of the actors seem to really be giving it their all with what they're given. Visual effects are outstanding and clearly have a lot of money being poured into them. Not as much as I would like in certain cases, but But for me, the thing that's dragging this whole show down, and what I think should prevent an episode like this from getting a score as high as 8.4, is just the writing. I really think the writing on this show needs a vast overhaul. So I am hopeful that a season 2 can be quite good. I imagine with how much criticism there has been with the show, there's no chance in hell the writers and the showrunners aren't gonna kind of reevaluate some things. Hopefully for the better. I certainly hope so. But that about does it for The Rings of Power. I'm still currently watching Andor, so tune in for that. I'm also going to start Interview with the Vampire and Cabinet of Curiosities shortly after that. So stay tuned for some more content, and that's about it.